Yiannopoulos and the veteran anti-racism campaigner Wayman Bennett. Milo first. Let's start with that backlash. Wrong and desperate, says the Prime Minister. Sadiq Khan, the Shadow Justice Secretary, says breathtaking ignorance. What do you think?
It's a very difficult subject to talk about. It's a very toxic subject. It's a subject on which everyone seems to get themselves into trouble. I think that the context, the milieu, the sort of cultural issues behind what Farage is saying are understandable. Lots of people have some concerns that equality legislation in its various forms, whether it's sexism or racism or whatever, has perhaps gone a little far, that it's disadvantaging ordinary people. You know, there's a feeling
What do you mean by ordinary people, then?
Well, OK, there's a feeling that if you are, which is not a group I belong to, a sort of straight white guy, that society is somehow being architected against you. Now, some people will find that situation a little bit ridiculous, but if you look at, you know, statistics in education and employment, you see that men are actually falling behind a little bit. I think that...
OK, let me put that to Wayman Bennett. The straight white guy is losing out.
Well, let's be clear. I mean, I believe that Nigel Farage is looking for votes by stoking up racism, and he's scapegoating migrants to blame for a problem which I believe that he's part of. He was a commodity trader, part of the banking system that caused the crisis. The mass unemployment that's taken place for young white people and young black people has taken place as a consequence
OK, wait a minute.
For black Brits, isn't he? I mean, what he's saying effectively is that we should be able to deal, for example, with the problem of black unemployment in the UK by employing more black people and perhaps not employing so many Poles.
He's not just talking about black Britons, though, isn't he? I mean, he tried to say today he wasn't talking about race, but actually he was quite specific that he said you don't need a law forbidding discrimination on the grounds of nationality, race or colour, but actually we need a Race Relations Act more than ever, because racism never went away and it's back with a vengeance. I mean, a third of Britons admit to racial prejudice. That's a shocking figure.
Well, I mean, you know, I don't know. I haven't seen that statistic.
Well,
but,
that's the British Social Attitude Survey. I mean,
right. I mean, that seems like a
ridiculous
ridiculous thing. It doesn't reflect the Britain that I know. I mean, I don't think Britain is a racist country. I think Britain is one of the least racist countries in the world. It's one of the most tolerant places that you could possibly live. These people who say that Britain is an awful place, when you ask them, well, where would you rather live, they come up rather short on answers, because it is one of the most tolerant countries around.
You didn't, frankly, have the balls to put country before party.